What is good, YouTube? So, same location. You're just normally right here, but I'm putting you right here just because my computer needs to charge, my monitor is off, so I need some light. But I'm in the process right now of uploading my YouTube video for Road to 100K. So excited. The camera is beautiful, amazing. I love it. But coming on here to tell y'all a couple of things, right? So, and I kind of explained it in the video a little bit, but I just want a video separate just to tell y'all, like, listen. So, I know and I understand in my soul that every entrepreneurial idea that anyone ever has can work out. And I've known what I've needed to do since, I don't know, May or April. But this phase that I'm in right now, everyone goes through the three phases. They go through uninformed optimism, then they go the valley of despair, and then they go work on their way back up. This is where I'm at, right? And everybody takes different timings. Hold on, bro. Everybody takes their own time to get to where they need to be. And what I mean by that, the road back up could take somebody anywhere from, and I mean, don't quote me on this, but like 2 months to however long. Because the reason I say 2 months is like that 2-month mark, if you do everything you're supposed to, the first month is going to be, especially with prop firms, you can get any prop firm passed within a week to a month. So if you are disciplined and you do everything that you're supposed to, from the time you figure out what you really need to do, you can get your life changed in 2 months. And I'm not saying you're making $1 million, but realistically, you can do significant things. So for instance, I have 3 Alpha Futures accounts that I'm working with. One is live, but lost $1,000 on it today. I didn't do a trade recap because I've kind of neglected YouTube, making YouTube videos for past couple weeks. But my bad. 2 months I think can change, because if I can pass an account, in a month, and then the next month get a payout, which it only takes 5 days. You telling me I can't win 5 out of 20 days out of the month? You know what I'm saying? So, and honestly, everything that I tell y'all is not scripted. Like, I'm not making a script and then posting it on YouTube. Now, for the YouTube content, I think low-key I might need to do that, just to make it a little bit more entertaining. But these videos are straight from the heart, very just documentary. So, I'm just saying what comes off of my head. So, with that being said, I tell y'all, these plans, these ambitious goals, and I know they'll work when I decide that I'm done with, treating trading like a game. You see numbers, you see P&L, you see red, you see green, and it's a game, bro. But truthfully, like, trading is a business. And I know I've told y'all I kind of wanted to trade breakouts until I got this whole situation figured out with standard deviation. But I have finally figured out and understood standard deviation. I'm not saying I understand it 100%, but I understand it well enough to take the trades. Reason being, I took this whole weekend to back test, back test, back test, back test, back test. Me and my friend, and like I said, back testing is not like, it's not going to get you 100% where you need to be, but it'll show you, hey, do you have a good understanding over a period of time? So we back tested only like 2 trades, but I've back tested this strategy over a month's worth of data. And maybe I need more, but here's what I've found out. Me and my friend hit a 1 to 12 risk to reward trade in a live market over the weekend, and we weren't trading NASDAQ or nothing, but we understand the strategy, and I understand the strategy. And the cool thing that I like about it is the average risk to reward is like a 1 to 5. That's average. A good trade that you can hit maybe once, twice a week, if you have a really good week, is a 1 to 10. And it's not hard. Like, it's not like I don't know if you'll hit it. No, if you're at the top of a range and you see that the market's reversing off of a change of a state of delivery, and then you see the retracement, and you get in. I told y'all I wanted to learn how to top and bottom tick. And it's crazy because God does everything for me. Like, realistically, I said I wanted a solution to make money that didn't take very long, but could give me a lot. And he gave me it. He said, here's trading, right? Then I said, Lord God, breakouts are cool, but I don't think they're for me. I want to learn how to top and bottom tick. Lord God, please give me something, like an idea or something to help me. So then I went through all these different things, and then boom, standard deviation hit. And I was like, yo, what the heck? Like, I didn't think it was God at the moment, but now that I get to sit and actually think, I'm like, yo, standard deviation is a really simple concept that it was confusing at first when I was learning it. And I'm still learning it, don't get me twisted, but I understand it. Standard deviation, in order for you to get an A+ setup, you want to see sweeps of major liquidity, right? You want to see a rejection order block formed and created. So, okay, let me do in order. You want to see a sweep of liquidity and a whole bunch, not just like maybe, unless it's one major liquidity sweep, but you want to see multiple liquidity sweeps happening, or a liquidity sweep that sweeps all liquidity. Number 2, you want to see a rejection block, not an order block. Order blocks can happen too on a higher time frame, but you can look for a rejection block. Then you want to look for the displacement down, change the state of delivery, and then you want to look for a pullback into the 0.5 zone or the 0.7, or just a tap into that order block. Now, I don't necessarily like to look for taps of the order block because it's not as strong, but the 0.5 is definitely a strong. I'll take a 0.5. And I would love to take 0.7s or 0.79s, but they're very not unlikely because they happen every day. But I want to make sure I get the best fill. And the best fill, if the order block is going to hold, it'll go to a 0.5, reach a 0.7, and then reject. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to go much higher than 0.7 if that rejection block is valid. So I know what I'm looking for, and how do I use my bias? How do I see what my draw is for the day? We look on the higher time frames, and I know I was telling y'all it was really difficult, and I don't know why people do that. I don't hate on any other strategies, but I used to be like, yo, bias, daily bias. rejection blocks, order blocks, fair value gaps. I didn't like them. But what I've realized is how I find my daily bias is, do we have anything on the 4 hour time frame, like a fair value gap or a order block or a rejection block on the higher time frames, to say, hey, we might be going up. Then I'll go down to the 1 hour and I'll say, okay, we had a 4 hour fair value gap. So for instance, today, matter of fact, let me show you about today, because this was a good trade, but I ended up risking a lot. And I took 3 trades. So I kind of need to dial it back down, but I'm going to show y'all exactly what I was looking for. What the heck? Wait, can y'all see? Alright. What the freak? Why is it being weird? Alright, hopefully, because I'm going to have to look back at this video. But let me show y'all. Today was a really good trading day. Now, I flipped my bias once because I didn't look at the higher time frames. But there was a lot of things that I did wrong today that I'm not going to be doing again. But so this was the trade. That was my third and final trade, but as you see, we got stopped out. But let me tell you what my first trade was before I even explain that one to you. So look, now I kind of disregarded the fact that we're in a bullish trend, because the only reason why is because we have this weekly gap that we haven't even came down and touched yet. We've literally just been coming up. I've never seen in my 10 months, almost 11 months of trading, us create a gap and us keep going up. So this is like a NASDAQ part 2, like we're in a new world type deal. You feel me? But besides the point, let me explain. So I looked at this order block that I've seen here, a bullish order block, and the reason I wanted to go bearish is because I seen an order block into a bearish close. Anytime you see that, it's pretty much a valid sign that we could push lower. And me and my friend, well, here's the thing. My friend told me that this wasn't valid. I was kind of irritated because I was like, yo, bro, just be quiet. Like, I know what I'm looking for, da-da-da-da-da. But, he kind of helped me see this a little bit. But like we said, we didn't end up hitting the 0.5, but I had my limit a little bit lower just because I did want to get filled if we were going to, push down. So we got filled right here. And we had stops right above here. And my target was all the way down here. But I knew we were going to take partials if I was going to take partials right here. And then I was just going to let the rest ride once we get down here, right? So, as you see, we displaced nicely to the bottom. So this would have been, let me see, right here would have been a 1 to 3, and we would have made 1, 2, 3. I'm trying to think. This is a 1 to 3, so risking 400. We would have made $1,200 on this trade today. But what annoyed me was, this is why a lot of people say don't listen to other people, because what ended up happening was My friend was like, yo, that's an invalid order block. Da 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 da. Mind you, this was my original trade. And I was going to be done for the day, but I listened. And this isn't always bad, but what I've learned from this is I can't really take other people's advice. Now, give me 2 seconds and I'm going to use the bathroom and I'm going to come back. Hold on. All right, I'm back. So I'm low key getting a little irritated talking about this. Yeah, y'all might not have been able to see barely anything. My God, bro. And y'all be like, yo, that worked out for you. Well, this is where I don't listen. You don't listen to people. We were risking I was risking 400. So if we bring out my Fibonacci, yo, I have to redo my Fibonacci settings because this is bad. This is actually bad. But if we look at it kind of like this, right? We hit our 1-to-1, hit a 1-to-2, 1-to-3, 1-to-4. Yeah. But I listened to my friend. And he was like, yo, this is going to go up. Do not go down. So I moved my stop loss right here. Or I honestly think we got tapped right here and continued to push down. So I was like, okay, $200 on the day, da-da-da-da-da. I'll look for an entry up. So we ended up hitting full TP or TP, which would have banked me 12 on the day, 1,200. Then I was like, okay, you know what? He was like, a couple minutes later, he's like, yo, we're in a order block on S&P 500. So I went, looked. I was like, okay, cool. And he was like, bro, he told me that trade wasn't valid because of this higher time frame gap that we were in. Let me see. 1. 5. Where's the gap? Was it on the 4-hour? Because I mean, it created this gap too, but it's not what I'm looking at. I think let me find it. Because we were in some type of higher time frame gap. $10. Okay, I'm not finding that gap that he told me, but I know we were in something. Let me look at the 15-minute. Oh, yeah, bingo. 15-minute time frame. 8 o'clock. We had this gap that we were going off of, and I was like, all right, bet. So mind you, I'm $200 up on a day at this point. So I risk a little bit heavier. We tap into the block. Say stops below here. We'll target the top of this wick. Boom. Instantly get stopped out. Well, we get into a little bit of profit, got stopped out. Then I'm like, all right, now I'm down I think I was only down to 200. I was like, let me do this again. So it ended up tapping. And as soon as I seen this happen, I was like, all right. Or no, I think I got in on this one. And I was like, all right, let me put stops below this low. And I was like, it's just going to be a little bit below this low. Mind you, it went lower than the last one. And I was like, okay, we'll target here. Take out most of my position. And I was like, with my old Fibonacci settings, I need to get them back, and I'm gonna figure it out. But um, I wanted to pretty much hold out to up here, which would have gave me a 1 to 9 risk to reward. Like I told y'all, we hit 1 to 10s with this strategy all the freaking time. Got stopped out for 600 plus 400 would have been 1,000, and we literally 1,000 down on the account, and here's the thing. This is not because of my friend. My friend didn't make me lose, but I have to believe in my bias, because like I told y'all, this wasn't an unattainable goal to get down to, because this was a gap that we were coming to fill that I was already targeting. So once I seen, and we had a lot of chop right here, which ended up stopping him out as well. But when I seen us displacing back higher, I was like, bro. So I flipped my bias once, which was already bad. I listened to my friend, which was already bad. And then on top of that, I did 3 trades, $400 each, which means in total today I risked $1,200 of drawdown, which I only have 2,000. So all this comes to say, my trading thought process was right. I'm glad he told me about this bigger time frame gap, which now I'm going to start looking at the higher time frames when I'm trading. But him flipping my bias messed me up. And like I said, it's not his fault. That's mine. But it teaches me for next time. Don't risk as much. I'm only going to be risking $400 a day, which means I'm going to take 2 trades, and if I want to take those 2 trades. And the cool thing is, yes, I'm $1,000 down, but what $2,200 would do, if we hit that 1 to 5, we'll make 1,000. If I hit my 1 to 10, we'll make $2,000 be $200 on a day, or 2,000, or we'll be up 1,000 on the account. You know what I'm saying? So, I never thought that I would be in this position to where I switch strategies and but this is what I've been dreaming for. Like, this is really what I've been dreaming for. I've been waiting on this moment to where I could find top and bottom ticks, understand why they happen, and catch big moves. And what I've noticed is, especially with NASDAQ and everything, yes, I tried to catch a reversal, but I didn't try to catch anything unattainable. Like, because we were so bullish on Monday, I didn't try to take this reversal all the way down to this gap, which would have banged me out $9,000, which would have been crazy, yeah. But, I understand what I need to do from now on. And, I'm going to tell them after the trade why I thought that, and then, go from there. But today wasn't a bad trading day. Yes, I was a little irritated that I lost $1,000, but I am officially now even. I got my negatives out of my account. I have the resources to make me money, and now I just need to realign everything, recenter, create momentum, and go. So what I'm going to do is set a $400 a day limit, because then that means if I want to take one $400 loss on the day, I can risk $400, but I'll only be able to take 1 trade. So, it's up to me how I want to decipher that. Do I want to take 2 $200 trades or 1 $400 trade? And, if I take a $400 trade, 400 times 5. It's $2,000. 400 times 10. I can make anywhere from $2,000 to $4,000 a day. Simple as that. But it's whatever. So I've switched the strategy. I'm going to stick with this one, even if it doesn't work, because I've seen it work time and time again, and I've back tested. And life is really good. Like, I'm in a good point. But now I need to focus on making $10,000 before the end of the year again, so that I can move out. I've got a credit card now. Everything is really good, bro. That's straight facts. Hold on. Yo, I need to fix this thing. Cash App. All right, whatever. Yeah, man. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this uploaded. Now y'all see what I'm working with. I could. Ooh. When was this created, bro? That would have been tough. Look, guys, real quick. Like I said, bro. Now I gotta itch for this stuff, bro. We would have entered. Now we barely would have got, away with it, maybe. But if I would have had stops above, targeted right here, we would have hit a 1 to 6. Say I was to risk 400. 400 times 6.
400 times 6 is 2,400.
So I'm so excited, bro. And then we could possibly, because we're in an uptrend, reverse off of this area. And I mean, I'm not going to take this trade, but we could target the top of this wick because we know we're in an uptrend. Half stops below. And possibly, I low-key might take this. We could possibly bang out for a 1 to 6, make another $2,000. So I'm gonna see if I want to take this on my XFAs or my thingamajigs. I probably will. But yeah, man, life's good, life's great, and I will catch y'all tomorrow.